Hello and welcome to this Facebook Live event. My name is Warren Chalklin, and over the next 45 minutes, we are going to be building a Salesforce matrix report in 5 easy steps. If you've just joined us, please put your name and the country where you're from in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to you. I see some people are joining us, so if you have, welcome to you. My name is Warren Chalklin, and I am passionate about Salesforce, and I'm really excited that you'll be joining me to learn how to build a Salesforce matrix report in 5 easy steps. We're going to go through the steps that you need to take to master this Salesforce report format. In my work across the globe with people who use Salesforce, there have been many questions about how to master the matrix report format in particular. And so that's what I'm going to be doing today. We're going to go through a 5 easy step process, and you are going to be exposed to a simple framework that I use that will make your life really easy. Welcome to some who have joined us. If you have just joined us, please, could you put your name and where you are from in the comment section? So a little bit about myself. I am a doctor. I am Dr. Warren Chalklin. I have a PhD in urban education. I'm also a Salesforce administrative consultant. I was previously based in New York City. I'm currently based in Cape Town, South Africa, the beautiful Cape Town. And I'm an online and face-to-face instructor. I've taught over 76,000 students over the past 2 years. It's been an incredible journey. And I have 12 Salesforce online courses at the moment. That means that I engage a lot with people who are using Salesforce for a variety of purposes. And so their questions help me inform what my next course should be. In this case, what my next webinar should be. And that's what we're doing right now. If you've just joined us, by the way, please can you post your name and the country you're from down below. And we'll get started right away. So, what will you learn by the end of the session? What are you going to take away? The first thing we're going to do is you're going to learn a simple framework to brainstorm your report. You're going to begin with the end in mind, okay? And I'm going to provide you with that framework. Feel free to take some screenshots as you go through this, and you'll learn valuable information to just think about your Salesforce report. This webinar is perfect for anyone who has built Salesforce reports, who needs a refresher, or if you are brand new to Salesforce, to learn the fundamentals of a report. I'm going to cater for both groups of people, so you are welcome here. The second thing we're going to learn is how to streamline your data by inserting fields and filtering your information. So that's really a fundamental skill that you will take away from this session. You will learn how to put that information into a matrix format. And finally, my hope is that you will leave this time happy and really comfortable building a matrix report. So let's dive right into the 5-step framework. Step number 1 is to brainstorm your report, to really clarify what question you want to answer. The key thing about a report is that it answers a question. So you've got to know what the question is, so that you can then go into Salesforce and use the tools to answer it. So that's why step 1 is clarify your question and brainstorm your report. Step 2 is to set up your report, to save and remove fields and clear filters. Get your report ready to edit. Thirdly, add filters and fields to your report. So add in the information and refine your report. Step 4 is to set up the matrix format. We have tabular, summary, and matrix format. In addition to join format in the classic form of Salesforce, we're focusing just on matrix today. So once you put everything in, you then group it in the matrix format, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Finally, refine and save your report. Tweak your table to meet your needs and save your report. These are the 5 steps that we're going to be taking. Great. Let's begin with step number 1, which is brainstorm your report. In this, you are clarifying what question you want to answer. In other words, you're beginning with the end in mind, right? Really, really important. So a great way to do this is to write down in one sentence what question you want to answer, right? And by writing it down, this really reveals very important information. And to me, going through these steps actually saves me a lot of time at the end. Many people say, Warren, why do you spend time brainstorming? Why don't you just get into the report? And you're going to see why beginning with brainstorming actually helps you later on, okay? So I want to see the number of contacts by city and state, a very simple report. What kind of report is this? It's a contacts and accounts report. So this is the kind of report that we're going to be looking at together. Can this information be grouped? Remember, to group information, you have to have an x-axis and a y-axis. So we're grouping this contacts by state. Those are the two things we're looking at. Then we have a working title. By working title, we actually mean, that we need to give our report a title because it helps us get really clear about the information we're looking for. What do I want to see in the rows? Generally, you want to see the mailing city. And what do you want to see in the columns? In this case, I want to see state names, right? So what I'm actually going to do is show you a report that I have already built. And what I want to do, the reason why I'm showing you this is because I want you to look at the matrix format in all its beauty. On the one hand, you have the states, California, Colorado, Kansas. And on the other hand, you have the cities, all right? And these are contacts that you are looking at right now. So with that in mind, how do we get to this end result? We do that by going through our steps, right? And using what we have brainstormed to answer this question. So what we're going to do here is, let me pull this a little bit over. We are going to go to the home page and begin to build our report, all right? So we've done step 1, which is brainstorm our report. Step 2 is set up our report. So let's do that together. From the home page of Salesforce Classic, you can either click Create New, and generally report is right there. However, most likely it might not be there. I recommend clicking the plus sign, scrolling down, and clicking on Reports. This will take you to this page right here, and you'll see it says New Report. Click New Report, and this is where the value of your brainstorm kicks in immediately, right? So if we went back to our brainstorm, we could see that the kind of report we're looking for is a contacts and accounts report. So what I'm going to do is actually type in contacts and see what comes up. And immediately the contacts and account report comes up. So I'm going to highlight that, scroll down, and click Create. If you've just joined us, welcome. We are walking through the steps to build a Salesforce matrix report in 5 easy steps. If you've just joined us, welcome to you. Please could you put your name and your country in the comments section. And thank you so much for joining us. So we have just done step 1, which is brainstorming our report. And I recommend you take a screenshot of step 1 just for your own records. What we're at now is step 2, which is actually setting up your report. I selected the report, and now what I'm doing is I'm actually going to set it up. So let's start off firstly by saving this report. So we're going to call this contacts by state. All right, now I have already built this report before, so I'm just going to put an A there, and I'm going to save this in Maureen's folder and click Save. So that's the first sort of part. I then click Customize and make sure that I clear all the columns. All right, and the third major thing is to click All Accounts, Create a Date, Range, All Time, and then Save. So that's step 2, cleaning up our report. If you are new to reports, there are key things you need to know. The first thing is that it has 3 parts: the fields, the preview section, what we see, and the filter section, how we filter this information. So once we've done step 1, which is brainstorm, step 2, select and set up our report, we're now ready to go into step 3, which, as you can see, is add filters and fields. So here we go. I'm going to add some fields first up, and I'm going to use the brainstorm. So we want to see contacts, city, and state. So what I'm going to do is actually start off with the easy one, which is city, and pull in mailing city. Notice how I pull it in and drop it down. I'm then going to click state and bring in mailing state and bring it in and drop it down. If I wanted to, I could also pull it out and drop it out. But I want to pull it in and drop it in right there. In addition to that, I have contacts. So what about the contacts? I want to know their first name. I want to know their last name. And out of curiosity, I would even put account name right in here. Right in there, drag it in and drop it. So I've put in my fields. The next major important piece is to put in your filters. Remember, right now we're looking at all information for all time. What we want to do now is actually filter this information. And what we do is we go back to our brainstorm and we can see that we want to see only those contacts that have states and that have cities. So what that means is I'm going to make sure that I drag and drop mailing city into the filters. I have these options: equals, not equals, less than, greater than, less or equals, greater or equal, contains, does not contain, and starts with. I'm going to say mailing city does not equal to blank. And notice what happens. Immediately, any of these cities are actually going to become full because anything that's blank is going to be left out. And by the way, if you've just joined us, please can you write your name and your country in the comment section. And I really am so grateful that you're here. We're building a matrix report using a 5-step framework. So welcome to you. Okay, now the next step for us is to make sure that the state is not blank. So what we're going to do is go right in there, take the state and drag and drop that in and say mailing state not equal to blank. Now for those who are familiar with Salesforce reports, you would say, why am I not using a cross filter or filter logic, which is something right up here? Why am I not using this filter logic? The answer to that question is because I'm just showing you the matrix format. I'm not going into the depths of that. That's in another video, okay? Now, we've done step 1, we've done step 2. Step 3 was to add the filters. Step 4 is to group this information into the matrix format. And we do that right here by clicking tabular format and clicking matrix. Notice how we have a table that's set up like this, okay? And we have said that we want, on the y-axis, we want to see state, and on the x-axis, we want to see city. So let's put that in. If I have state on the y-axis, and then city on the x-axis, notice how my report changes. And if I click Run Report, I will pull all this information into the report. Now this format is quite unwieldy, so we have to go to step 5, which is to refine our report. I'm going to click Hide Details. Notice what happens. Immediately, all those pieces of information, if I click Show Details, are going to be shown out like this. The report's quite unwieldy. If I click Customize, it will take me right back, and I can then hide these details. We notice, for example, in Alabama, we have 21 contacts in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And so what I've done is I've shown you not only the distribution by state, in other words, we have a lot of people in California and less people in North Carolina, for example. I can also show you where in those states those contacts reside. And when I'm done, I click Save. The important and most critical thing to take away is that we have gone through a 5-step process to get here. Let's review that process together. If you're on step 1, you remember that we brainstormed our report. Step 2, we set up our report. Step 3, we added filters and fields. And step 4, we set up our matrix report. In the final step, we just refined it. I made sure that I hid the details and that I saved this report. So you have actually, if you followed these steps, built yourself a matrix report. And I encourage you to practice along with me and put a note in the comments if I can help out with any of the questions that you might have about the steps that I've taken. So you've built yourself a matrix report, but can you transform this data into a Salesforce dashboard? A matrix report is a great way to see details, right? For example, your sales figures. But what a dashboard does is help you see this information visually, your priorities. For example, right here, we can actually see a donut chart that shows you that California actually makes up 34% of the states, right? Something that you couldn't actually see on the matrix table. And so what a dashboard does is it helps you make that information more accessible. A dashboard summarizes the volumes of stored information into an accessible and visible format. And what it does is it helps you to see important patterns that help you be more efficient and hopefully more profitable. If you want to unlock the power of this tool, then I have a really cool opportunity, which is to actually be involved in a Salesforce Dashboard Bootcamp, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. This bootcamp is a 2-week process where you actually engage with me as your instructor and learn really critical skills about building a dashboard. So key things that you would take away if you join this bootcamp is that you will learn more skills how to build summary and matrix reports. You will use simple steps to transform reports into useful dashboard charts, and I'll teach you some reporting tricks along the way. The beauty of being part of a bootcamp is that you're part of a community that has access to things like office hours, that has access to opportunities to learn valuable skills such as how to transform, how to draw out your dashboard, set up your reports, create your dashboard and add your chart. You get one-on-one mentorship and weekly group calls, optional group calls, where you will have access to me to ask me specific questions and practice along the way. I'm offering this bootcamp on the 26th of February and the 12th of March. And this 2-week bootcamp requires at least 4 hours of your time a week. So you will actually be engaged in practical learning. There are only 36 seats available for each bootcamp. And that is so that we can make the classes small, manageable, and very personal. On completion of the course, of the bootcamp, you will get a 30-minute consultation with me where you can bring your Salesforce questions related to the bootcamp or not, and I'll be happy to answer those. In addition, you will get access to a free Salesforce course worth about $200 that is entitled How to Input Data, Run Reports, and Strategize. And that's a really popular course of mine that I'm offering for this particular bootcamp. If you are interested, please do click the link. I'm about to provide it. And the cost to you will be $299. Generally, these kind of bootcamps can go $500 up. I just wanted to provide this opportunity for this particular course that I really am excited about. Now, if you have any questions about what I have taught in terms of a matrix report or about the bootcamp itself, now is your time to ask them. I'm happy to answer them and learn a bit more from those who have been on this video. Okay, I'm going to start off with a question. What is the difference between, this is very interesting because it was the same question that I had in the previous webinar that I did. What's the difference between an online course and an online bootcamp? Great question. Okay. An online course, for example, Udemy, Skillshare, and the like, actually you pay $10 and you basically consume videos, right? Similar to YouTube. A bootcamp, on the other hand, is more practice oriented. You actually get tasks and you get access to your instructor. For an instructor like myself who has 76,000 students, it's really hard to provide personalized support and answer questions. There's just too many people. But if you're in a bootcamp that has 36 people in it, for example, it's really easy to have office hours to ask questions and really learn and master the content. So that's a great question, and that's the key difference between a $10 Udemy course and a $300 bootcamp. Okay, we have another question about time. How long will this bootcamp take and why is it 8 to 9 hours? When a course, for example, some of my courses are between 4 and 5 hours. What's the difference? Well, the key difference is that, yes, in the 4 to 5 hour course, you will get access to high quality content. However, the extra hours, in addition to the 4 hours or 5 hours of content, the extra hours are actually the time you are spending practicing what you have learned. So those include things like one-on-one mentorship. Those include things like group calls. Those include things like actually building your own dashboard and collaborating with members of the community to show them the work that you've done and actually learning from each other. So that's the extra hours. But it's also more quality and deeper learning. So that's sort of a really key distinction between the time and the cost. And that's really the difference between an online course and a bootcamp. Okay, I see that there is just one more question. Will there be more bootcamps in the future? So you're not available on the 26th of February or the 12th of March. Yes, absolutely. If you click this link, mensch.co, build a Salesforce dashboard, I have bootcamps set up for the remainder of the year. If you click on this link, you will see bootcamps for the remainder of 2018. I will be running these really often. In fact, I'll be adding more along the way, so please check back at any time. So with that, if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to reach out to me. I am really passionate about this experience of online teaching and online learning. Click on the link if you want to check out the bootcamp. Remember, there's only 36 seats available, and the deadline is next week, Sunday at PST midnight. It will cut out. Join us for this incredible experience, and I hope to see you there. Take care.